Aloha. This is Pro 4 Exploits. I'm Chris. This is little Larry. Right now, we're going to do a little Jeep action instead of Frontier action. Luckily, I'm not working on this guy. I am working on this guy here. This is my 94 Jeep YJ, and I am going to be dropping the fuel tank out of this so that I could change the fuel lines. The hoses are old, they're leaking, and it's no fun smelling gas knowing that every time you stop at a red light, you're probably dripping fuel onto the ground. And not only that, when the gas is dropping down by the exhaust pipe, that's a little discerning too. So, did I just say discerning? Disheartening. So, anyway, we're gonna take care of that. My dad's gonna help out, and we'll get to it. So let's get the garage ready and we'll get started. All right, here's the deal. I took out all the nuts and bolts, and I'm going to start it up because those fuel lines look new. They don't look old. I don't remember changing them, but maybe I did. So let's start it up and see what's going on. And this thing starts real quick. Okay, let's go look, see where it's leaking. See any fuel. Is it leaking underneath? Nope, it's seeping right here. Why is it seeping right there? Yeah, it's old. Okay. It's old. Let's shut it off. Let's shut it off. Yep. Oh yeah, look at all that fuel in there now. Yep. So, judging from this hose right here, which is... Anyway, judging from that hose, it's pretty bad. So, alright, we're gonna drop the tank, get some fuel line, and see what we can do. All right, 2 hours later, those two hoses right there. Let's go take a look at them. There, maybe you can see it there. It looks like it's splitting, right? Okay. This is the, and this is the return line. But the pressure line is definitely cracked. I'm gonna get about 6 feet, 3 feet of each. Boy, I got a lot of gas on me. Well, I guess it's just like a mechanic's perfume or something, right? Cologne. These sleeves are loaded with gas. All right, well, whatever. All right, off to the auto parts. All right, here's an update. I think I got everything figured out. I hooked up the fuel lines backwards, crossed it, so it wouldn't start. So then I hooked it back up the other way, and sure enough, I had the pressure side to the wrong fuel line. Anyway, so then I tried stabbing the fuel tank back in the Jeep, and of course it doesn't go in as easy as it falls out. And in order to get it in, I have to put the passenger side up first to clear the muffler, because the muffler hanger bolts are frozen, and I have to I had to take off the filler hoses so that I could fit it inside the frame rail. And when I do that, there's too much fuel in the fuel tank, so now I have to drain the fuel out of the fuel tank so that I can tip it up so that I don't drain fuel out of the open necks. So anyway, and I'm using like a little 1/4-inch siphon hose. So it's taking forever, but it's time for a break. All right, I was giving you an update before, but now I'm giving you another update. So I was filling the fuel tank while I was talking to you last time, but then I checked to see if it was almost full or not, because I couldn't see because the sun's kind of bright, and it wasn't filling. So just another delay. Anyway, we're gonna make this happen. All right, so let's keep at it. And I washed my hands, so maybe I won't have a sandwich, because now my hands aren't dirty enough to have a sandwich like real mechanics. But anyway, I smell like gas. It's good perfume. All right, well, finished results. I didn't film buttoning it up, but all it took to finish it was, I guess, my dad showing up just to give me some some moral support. But everything's back together in the old Jeep. If you remember, underneath my little homemade bed liner is a hatch that I cut right here, and that's where I could access the fuel tank. Well, I don't know what happened, but I could not get this thing started for the life of me. After I got it started, and then I got it started, I put the fuel tank back up and I started buttoning it back together. But for some reason, when I put the fuel tank back in, there's a certain routing that the fuel lines need to go. There's like a little indentation in the top of the tank, and I must have missed it. Somehow they got pinched and it starved the fuel. So once I put the fuel tank back up against the bottom of the bed here, it started starving for fuel. So then I dropped it, tried starting it, wouldn't start. I went, did I somehow flip the fuel lines, the high pressure and the return line? So I'd switch those back and forth a few times. Finally gave up when the sun started getting in my eyes every time I climbed under the Jeep. So I said, that's it, I'm done. Well, this morning my dad came over, and I was going to have him test the wires for the fuel pump when I turned on the key to the on position to see if I was getting juice. Maybe somehow I tore a wire or ground was loose or something like that. And so he was ready to test the wire, so I turned on the key. I heard the fuel pump turn on. I went, huh. Turned the key over, burp, started right up. So I left the thing running while he jacked it up, and I kind of centered the fuel tank to line it up with the bolts sticking out. And I don't know, but it worked. So all it took was Dad to the rescue, and it worked just fine. So we went cruising and we did some four-wheeling and checked out some spots next to Stillhouse Lake and brought it home. Oh, we stopped on the road test. We had to make sure we went to the bar too. We had a couple drinks, and then we came home. So anyway, long story short, and a lot of I think my skin still smells like gas. But the Jeep is running again, so I guess now I need to wash the windshield and go take it for a spin because it's looking pretty dirty up there. All right, well, appreciate you guys watching along. I'm going to enjoy this Jeep some more before the next project, which I think might be the brakes, because I think there's a vacuum leak in the, hopefully not the booster with the diaphragm in there. Hopefully it's just a vacuum line somewhere under the dash, which, if you know Jeep YJs, those dashes are a nightmare. All right, so appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time. Aloha.